Good morning, everybody. It is a little bit after 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and I have my cup of coffee. It's kind of lukewarm at this point, but 5 o'clock in the morning, you'll take any caffeine related beverage just to get that spark, get that kickstart in the morning. So, we're going to do a couple of things this morning. We're just going to talk. There's no review, but before we get into it, I do want to update. Yesterday, I said that I could not find the DAC module that was inside the ADI2. And so I said, if I can't find it, then it sounds like that RME created their own DAC chipset, or they did their own circuitry implementation. One of my subscribers corrected me and said, no, actually, they are using a third-party DAC chipset, and it's the AK4490, and it's on a PDF. So I went through all the PDFs that RME had, and I couldn't find it until I specifically put in AK4490 with the search term RME ADI2 DAC. And then one of these very oldish looking PDFs showed up. And I don't know if this is not from RME. This is from SOS. I don't know what SOS is, but it looks like it's a review, or it's just it's not really a press statement. But on this PDF, it says the analog outputs are generated by AKAM's AK4490 DA converters. So this is the only name drop about the AKM4490 that I have found regarding the RME. It's not on their website. It's not on the other PDFs that you have links on the RME website. This thing is somewhere, and the link is on RME's website. This is where I'm getting it from. It's just not readily available. It's not easily available from the page where the actual product is being sold. So there's that. We solved that mystery. It's still an AKM chip, just like the monolith, but different chipsets. So this is the older version, the 4490, and then the monolith is using the much newer version that came out at, January-ish, 2018. And there's a noticeable sound difference. 4490 apparently is a little bit more warm sounding, at least how it's implemented with the RME. Okay, so that's that. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to the following. I'm going to put in a search term for you. You ready? Reference class mixing mastering headphone. I put in this search term, reference class mixing mastering headphone, and I will get all sorts of responses on Google. Why am I telling you this? Because I have been struggling to find a real, definitive, helpful, analytical, scientific, unbiased representation, list, opinion, review, idea, blog, anything at all that would help me understand what is a true mixing, mastering, reference grade headphone. And I have not found one. Not a single damn one. I am irritated beyond belief. I've told you that the Neumanns are not worth $500. They are not true reference class mixing, mastering headphones. Of all the various problems that we've addressed, they're good headphones for general listening, and if you can get used to their weird sound characteristic, you can absolutely use them to mix and master. You can use any headphone to mix and master. But I'm not convinced. In fact, I am being pushed very heavily in the opposite direction of concluding that these headphones are appropriate for, out of the box, appropriate for mixing and mastering, that label should be applied to them. I don't believe it should. So I've been looking for an alternative, and I've said to myself, and I've said to you, I don't want to go over the Neumann price tag. First of all, I don't think the Neumann price tag is worth it. But second of all, I don't think any reference class headphone is worth $500. So I've tried to find something up to $500, and I've had so many hits. I've had things that are $599, $499, $399, $99, and I've looked into all of these headphones. I've looked into headphones that are, in fact, a little bit more pricey, just to kind of get an idea of what is it that I am missing in the reviews, in the opinion pieces, the blogs, whatever, in the other cheaper headphones. And I haven't found a review or a blog or anything that addresses the headphone to my satisfaction. Short blurbs is all I've gotten. Idiotic blurbs talking about sweetness and roundness and flavor of the music. It just has a flat, affected sound. That sort of nonsense that has no objective statement. It's all subjective. It's all amorphous. There's no way for you to test what they're saying. And frankly, it is useless. It's pointless and gobbledygook. It's the type of stuff you tell somebody when you don't have any idea what the hell you're talking about. Right? I mean, it's like you run into somebody on the street and they're like, "Hey, Tom," and you have no idea who that person is. They just said your name. You can't remember that person. You can't tell what their name is. You have a vague idea of who this person might be, and now you have to hold a conversation in public with them. And you have to pretend, because you don't want to be rude, you have to pretend that you know them. Have you ever had that experience? Of course you have. Everybody's had that experience. That's what it feels like with the vast majority of quote, audiophile reviewers. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Either they have no real way, they have no linguistic ability to explain in concrete terms what they are hearing, or they are dumb people who simply do not understand. Those are the only two options. I am done cutting these people slack. I am done saying, sometimes people just have a difficult time explaining. Nope, sorry. If this is your living, if this is what you do, if this is how you make money, then those are the only two options. Either you have no idea what the hell you're talking about, or you just don't understand. You cannot understand. You have no ability to use language. You are a dumb person. That's it. I'm done. No more whitewashing, no more trying to make excuses for these full-time paid reviewers. I'm done with them. So how do I find something? How do you find something with sufficient information to make a logical and conscious, unbiased decision? I don't know. I don't know how many hours of research I put into this, and I can't tell you that there is this one headphone or these handful of headphones or this review site that you should go and look at. The closest thing that I found is Inner Fidelity. Inner Fidelity does a fairly good job regularly talking about headphones in their written reviews. But even that website isn't really precise. It's more amorphous when it comes down to the sound characteristics. It does better comparisons than almost any other review website I've seen, except for maybe HeadFi. But that's all blog posts, and you want to read that with many grains of salt, because those are very much opinion pieces. And it gets ranty and catty amongst those HeadFi members. So here's what I've done. At first I think that we should start with a headphone that the vast majority of individuals in mixing mastering conditions have. And that would be the Sony MDR 7506. This headphone is ubiquitous in the mastering booth. It's easy to fold up. It's cheap. It's all plasticky. You can throw it around. People say it's fairly neutral. But there are a few driver issues. Usually gets 4 to 5 stars from people. And I thought, this might be it. And I realized it can't be that easy. And so I looked into it, and people were talking about how there's a bit of harshness to these headphones in the upper treble region, how the bass is not entirely accurate. Okay, so maybe that is the case. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. Let's hold off on buying the 7506. Is there another version? Well, I found out there's a 7510, there's a 7520, which the 7520, by the way, is discontinued. The 7510 is still available. Then there's the MDR Z1000, which is a clone of the 7520, but made of better outer shell materials. There's metal on it instead of all plastic, but it's an astronomical price that they're asking for, and it's discontinued, by the way. Let me re-emphasize that. So I said, okay, what's left? Well, there's a Shure SRH 1540, and this can be had between $250 and about $400, readily available. I have the 1840, which is the open back version. I really like it. I looked into it a little bit more. It turns out people are not particularly happy because they say at higher volumes, the headphone starts falling apart. The detail gets lost, it gets muddy. I thought, well, that's the total opposite of what I want. You need to have a headphone that doesn't fall apart. It needs to stay consistent throughout the power it's receiving and throughout the frequency range. And this kind of undercuts that. Okay, maybe not the 1540. What else is left? Well, how about the Adam Audio SP5, which people have been telling me about? Oh, you need to buy it. You need to buy it. Look, Adam Audio is known for their speakers. They're not known for their headphones. This is their first headphone. And you know what? They teamed up with Ultrasound, which does make headphones. My problem with putting $500 down for this is that Adam Audio didn't make it. They had Ultrasound make it. And I have no idea which version of their headphones Ultrasound decided to use as the design basis for the SP5. Is it a discontinued version that Ultrasound had lying around somewhere and they said, we'll just give them this? Adam Audio, not knowing any better or not caring, said, you know what, we'll take that. Sure, no problem. We'll put our name on it, put the sticker on it, and there we go. Every review that I've seen about the Adam Audio is short, imprecise, unscientific, and I hate it. I hate those reviews because they're not real reviews. It's hard to put down $500 when everybody that you were going to for a review simply can't give you one. These schmucks on YouTube, 2 minutes, maybe 5.5 minutes, where they spend the first half of the video talking about the plastic build, the cord, how it folds up, talking about Adam Audio's history. Great. Thank you very much for wasting 2.5 minutes of my life and not actually telling me anything about the product. And hopefully you can hear the disdain and the disgust I have for those types of reviews and those reviewers. Not worth it then. $500, not worth it. So how about we go to the actual source here? Forget Adam Audio because they're just buying stuff from other people and putting their sticker on it. Forget Adam Audio. Let's go to Ultrasound. So I went to Ultrasound and I researched Ultrasound's headphones. And the problem is Ultrasound's headphones are very expensive. So either put down $500 for a pair of headphones there's no real information about, or you put down more than $500 for Ultrasound's headphones. That's not... I can't do that. I simply cannot do that. The Pro 900i is $500. I think the 780S is a little bit cheaper. Let's see, Ultrasound 780S. 780i. Let's do 780i. $250. And they have their own little mojo and then their own little tricks on it. If you go to Major Hi-Fi, which is an okay review website, not particularly detailed, they talk about Ultrasound and the problems here, problems there. I like the sound stage. The highs are not fantastic, but not bad. There's a little too much sizzle here and there, which was disappointing because there's many things I like about these headphones. What the hell does that mean? There's a little too much sizzle here and there. I don't know what that means. All I can tell is that the highs, the treble region is not particularly detailed or very good. Thank you. How about the mids? Once you leave the pop world and enter rock and roll, things become a little less impressive, especially in the mids. Great, the mids aren't good for it. How about the lows? The lows aren't super pronounced, but they are very clear. They're not the warmest sound, refreshing to hear, much bass clarity without the heaviness. Do you see what I mean? Pointless. So yes, the Ultrasound 780i is cheaper, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's better. And just because it's from Ultrasound doesn't mean you're actually getting quality. And this has been the really difficult part for weeks now, trying to find the right pair of headphones. Here's what I've done. I have set aside the RME Audio SP5. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to put down $500 for it. If it comes down to about $250, $300, I may reconsider. But for $500, no way. Not going to happen. Ultrasound, not interested. I don't know anything about their sound signature. I can't get a clear idea of what their headphones sound like, any particular pair. Not going to do it. Especially not on the cheaper ones. The Shure SRH 1540. As much as I really do like the 1840, the issues that I'm hearing or reading about with higher volume, the muddiness, and not exactly true representation of the treble, that's a problem. Not entirely convinced of the 1540. The Z1000, much too expensive, first of all, and second of all, it's discontinued, so it's not going to help anybody else. The 7506, still a contender because of just how cheap they are. And perhaps in a month or two, we might go down this road. But I picked something else. In fact, I picked two other things. The first thing that I picked was the Allo Audio headphone, closed-back headphone. And they market the headphone as truly flat as you can get. Might as well try it. They have a 30-day return. And we're going to do a 30-day return if things simply don't pan out. They're hand-built. They're shipped from from Europe. They have fairly good customer service from all the interactions I've had with their company so far. So that's number one. Number two, and this was a surprise for me. I was never going to go down this road. I had told myself, no, never. This particular pair of headphones from this company had popped up a number of times over the last 2 years, and every time I had rejected it. This is ugly. It doesn't seem to have the best build quality. I don't really know what this headphone company is like. I don't know if they even understand headphones because they don't make headphones. They make speakers. Okay. NAD. I selected the NAD HP50. Now, they have an HP70, and then they have an HP50. The HP70 is the Bluetooth wireless version, and it's more expensive. Not interested. HP50 is the wired version. And I looked, and there are not a whole lot of reviews on the HP50. There's some. And the reviews are so-so. But one thing seems to be consistent amongst those reviews, as undetailed and as vague as they are, is that they tend to say that the HP50 is a relatively flat sounding headphone, relatively neutral. And they are easy to power. They don't get distorted. That they have a speaker-like sound to them because of their room field technology. Now, NAD makes very, very good speakers. And I looked into the room field technology and I tried to figure out where are they licensing this from? Who did they pay? Just like Adam Audio. Who did Adam Audio pay? They paid Ultrasound. The more I researched on NAD, the more I realized that NAD created this themselves. They didn't go out of their shop and hire somebody else. They did it themselves. And there's a video about the room field technology, and it's a lot of marketing mumbo jumbo. But if you go on YouTube, not Adam Audio, NAD did in fact upload a video about that. There's somebody there who's like a Johnny Ive light, a younger brother of Johnny Ive apparently, who's talking about the design and the room feel, blah 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 blah. But from what I can gather, NAD created this particular technology. Room feel, created to translate the warm, open sound of live performance directly into your private headphone experience. Countless hours were spent in one of North America's most sophisticated audio labs in the research and development of room field technology, discovering a way to discovering a way to add back the open sound of live performance into the recording without altering the audio signal. The result is true headphone innovation that lets you sense the music around you, feel every beat, and hear a more open soundstage. A lot of marketing nonsense, right? You don't know what the hell's going on. Science-driven sound, fine-tuned with precision inside one of the quietest places on Earth, with an expert team of sound scientists. The HP50s deliver the most advanced headphone technology for today's detailed recordings. Acoustically optimized ear cups and specially developed 40mm drivers keep the music sounding as accurate, clear, and natural as inside the recording booth. Okay. Again, all marketing stuff, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that this is going to represent the music as it was recorded in the studio. Well, I hope so. I certainly hope so. And the review of the HP50 has been fairly good across the board. Now, you may not like the look of this headphone. I certainly don't. This is the first thing that turned me off to these things. But once you have them on your head, it doesn't really matter. What about the specifications? Like we said, it's 40mm drivers, dynamic driver, 32 ohms. And the decibel response here is 100. That's the sensitivity. 100 decibels. That is fantastic. Goddamn fantastic. When was the last time we reviewed a headphone that had a sensitivity of 100 decibels? None. I don't have one at the top of my head I can tell you about. 100 decibels. Most headphones that we review, the sensitivity is low 90s, mid 90s if you're lucky. 100 decibels. Now, what does this mean in true life? This means that you can drive this from your cell phone if you want to just listen off your cell phone. You don't have to go out and buy a powerful portable amp. You don't have to go out and buy a powerful desktop amp. This headphone should be able to work with virtually any amplifier of decent quality that can drive 32 ohm headphones, which is, once again, really easy. If you have an amplifier that cannot drive 32 ohm headphones, you need to buy something else, because that's dumb. Okay? Fairly good so far. Downloads. Let's talk about the HP user manual. This is what the headphone looks like from the side, and I have to tell you, it may look like, it's black. It's glossy black. It is prone to fingerprints. It's plasticky feel. One of the biggest complaints that people have is that the design and the feel of the product is less than stellar. So be it. I will be very careful. It comes with an inline remote for Apple devices. I actually have two cords. One that has an Apple, actually any phone really. We have a play, pause, skip, all that sort of controls built into the cord. And the other one is just a regular flat cable. My one gripe that I can see immediately is that the cable is going to be very short because it sounds like NAD was more concerned, excuse me, more concerned about making this portable than they were about letting you use this in a studio environment. And that's the thing. The HP50 is not being marketed, excuse me, it's not being marketed as a mixing and mastering headphone. Nowhere on their website do they say, this is for mixing and mastering. And I find that kind of refreshing. Because all the other headphones that we've talked about, all the other headphones that I've looked at say mixing and mastering. The Neumanns, mixing and mastering. Not so much. How is this going to pan out? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that I got these for a very, very cheap price. These things go for used $150. They are supposed to be $200, I think $200 to $250 MSRP. I got mine for $100, which is the same price as basically the same price as a 7506 brand new. You know what? I'm willing to take a risk here, and I'm willing to put down 100 and try this out because it's different and it's not hyping itself as a reference class headphone. However, people have consistently said it's got a very neutral sound. Let's try it. Let's try something that isn't trying to make itself into something it's not. Mixing and mastering headphone. And let's see how it performs. So this has been the update. This headphone should be in tomorrow. From there, we will continue the process of reviewing the Neumanns, comparing. My first listen is actually going to be the comparison with the HP50. I'm going to give you my impression as it's happening. Unbiased. My reaction is going to be a true, legitimate reaction to the first time I'm going to listen to those headphones. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Friday. Hopefully your Friday will just rush right through. You'll be done with it in no time. And you can ease into your Saturday, and your Saturday is going to be so cool. It's going to be nice, relaxing, wonderful. I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful day.